The Philippine Islands is struck by a massive earthquake. Find out how severe the damage is.
Plus, the accused killer of a San Diego City College student faces a judge for the first time. His surprising behavior in court.
President Obama feels the heat after the Republican National Convention wraps up a big week.
And the NFL is making some huge changes this season. Those changes might impact the outcome of the games. Newscene starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Newscene. I'm Charlie Veramontes.
And I'm Amira Pargo. Thank you for joining us.
An earthquake struck the Philippines this morning. We're joined by Manny Santos with an update on what's going on.
That's right, Charlie and Amira. Let me tell you guys a little bit more about that. The tsunami warning issued for the Philippines this morning has been lifted, and the extent of the earthquake damage is being assessed. The Philippines was struck with a 7.6 earthquake early this morning. The quake happened at about 5 a.m. San Diego time. Its epicenter just east of the city of Samar at a depth of close to 21 miles. The quake was long and violent. Some residents say it even lasted over 30 seconds. People in the coastal areas were asked to evacuate immediately after the quake. Roads and bridges have been damaged and the power is out in many cities and towns and in the southern and central portions of the country. At this time, one death has been reported. That may change as the cleanup continues. So, Amira and Charlie, one death has been reported, but this is going to be continuing. The search will be continuing, and I'll be back later in the forecast to tell you about Tropical Depression Isaac and give you your weekend weather forecast.
Thanks, Manuel.
Thank you, Manny. For the first time, the accused killer Diana Gonzalez faces a judge. James Smith is here to tell us on what happened in the courtroom.
Thank you, Charlie. Amira, good evening. Now that her killer is in the custody of the San Diego justice system, Diana Gonzalez's family, friends, and fellow students must revisit her death in quest for closure and justice.
We have never wished death to anyone, but what does the person who leaves a 10-month-old baby without her mother deserve?
Armando Gabriel Perez was extradited back to the United States to face Diana's family and to stand trial for murder. But during his arraignment, things became chaotic.
No. Why did you tell me to plead not guilty, man? I want to know what I'm guilty, all right? I'm guilty. They're telling me not to be guilty.
San Diego Assistant District Attorney Teresa Santana explains the rules of law in this case.
A defendant cannot plead guilty at arraignment because always there has to be an attorney appointed, and an attorney needs to review the facts and find out and determine whether a defendant is mentally competent to enter any plea.
Perez brutally beat and stabbed to death his estranged wife in a men's room on the campus of San Diego City College almost 2 years ago. He then fled to Mexico, where he was apprehended after a 16-month investigation by Mexican authorities.
Even though we know that justice to Diana will not return her to our lives, we find peace in knowing that her crime will not go without punishment.
The District Attorney's Office is committed to delivering that justice and putting Diana's killer in prison for the rest of his life.
Perez's next court appearance is a preliminary hearing with bail review scheduled for September 5th. He is currently being held without bail. In a jailhouse interview with NBC7, Perez again confessed his guilt and contests the charge of first-degree murder. So, we'll have to see if the plea changes, if the charges change, or if everything stays the same.
Wasn't this a capital murder, and should he be facing the death penalty?
Well, if he was captured here in the United States, then he would have been facing the death penalty. But because he was captured in Mexico, we have a treaty of extradition that says that if the crime and the penalty is for death, Mexico will not extradite unless you take the death penalty off. So the most serious most serious punishment that he can face is life without the possibility of parole.
Thank you for clarifying that, James.
Construction is preparing for City College. However, there are more than just a few new buildings coming. Terry Burgess, the old president, has announced his retirement after serving for president at City College for the past 12 years. He made his announcement early to give enough time to find a new president for the 2013-14 school year. Burgess will have worked 42 years in the community when he leaves city.
Good news arrives to City College students looking for more parking. 350 new parking spaces are now available for students, staff, and visitors. The MS building located at the corner of 15th and 16th Street will provide parking. However, this year there was no grace period. This means that tickets will be issued if you do not have a parking permit. For more information on parking, visit our website at www.city.edu.com.
New court documents reveal the details on the death of a Marine wife. 22-year-old Brittany Kilgore was murdered in April. Her body was found in Riverside County's Camp Pendleton. Marine, her husband, Louis Ray Perez, Dorothy Maraglino, and Jessica Lynn all pleaded not guilty in connection with her death. However, Lynn was found in a motel room with self-inflicted wounds. Investigators say she wrote a note confessing she murdered Kilgore. Last week, the district attorney's office filed additional charges of conspiracy, kidnapping, and torture.
Police arrest a man accused of shooting 2 people in Oceanside. Authorities say 20-year-old Diego Martinez approached a couple's truck and opened fire. Investigators say 47-year-old Robert Robbins tried getting help by crawling from his truck to a nearby house. He died in the driveway. His girlfriend was also shot and found in the truck. She has non-life-threatening injuries. Meantime, Robin's mother speaks out about losing her only son.
My son is a good boy. He's a good heart. He loves the animals. He don't hurt nobody, nothing. I can't believe it. You know, my friend and my son.
A rifle was found inside the suspect's home. Authorities aren't sure if that was used in the shooting. Martinez is expected to be arraigned Tuesday.
A 53-year-old woman is on life support after she was attacked in her Claremont home. Police say the woman's boyfriend went to her apartment Wednesday after he hadn't spoken to her in a few days. He couldn't get in, so he asked the workers at a complex for help opening the door. They went in and found the woman barely alive. Right now, detectives are saying that they're treating the boyfriend as a witness, not a person of interest.
The 4 victims who died in the head-on collision off Highway 78 have been identified. Francisco Perez and Mary Ellen Aguilar were killed when their vehicles crashed into each other. 7-year-old Cameron Aguilar and 9-year-old Jennifer Aguilar also died in the accident. The vehicle was registered to the passenger. The girl's grandmother, Gail Romero, and 4 others are recovering from their injuries, including 6-year-old Audrey Aguilar. Family members say Audrey may be paralyzed.
It's Labor Day weekend, so expect to see an increase of patrol on the streets and highways. Police have set up checkpoints throughout the county in search of drunk drivers. Over 400 people were arrested for drunk driving last weekend in San Diego County alone. 500 went to jail for the same reason this time last year. If you're going to drink, please don't drive. Catch a cab instead or find a designated driver.
San Diego County's crime rate may have increased recently, but statistics show it's still the second lowest rate in the past decade. Almost 6,000 violent crimes were reported to local law enforcement agencies between June and July of this year. According to the San Diego Association of Governments, that's an 8% increase from last year's. Crime rate, the number of rapes reported in the county, also increased 26% since mid-year 2011.
Alleged Colorado shooter James Holmes called the university 9 minutes before opening fire at the movie theater. Yesterday, an attorney said Holmes called a number used to get in contact with faculty members during off hours. It's not clear who he was trying to call. Meanwhile, a psychiatrist at the university testified that she warned campus police about Holmes because she was concerned with what he said during their last meeting.
Coming up, Clint Eastwood creates a stir after his speech at the Republican National Convention. We'll show you the photo President Obama posted in response.
And new referees are frustrating fans. More on why they are slowing down the game.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
I did. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that strollers have the right of way on a sidewalk?
Yes.
Yep, I did. Did you guys
Did you know that kids who eat breakfast have higher GPAs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to say.
Did you know babies should never touch silver? It's really bad for them.
I knew that.
Did you guys know that statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
I'm putting that on my blog.
I just put it in mine.
Although Hurricane Isaac rattled some nerves on day one, the RNC came out swinging as they kicked off 3 more days of bashing the Obama administration and testifying to the virtues of their candidates. All this culminated with a few poignant words from presidential hopeful Mitt Romney.
I wish President Obama had succeeded because I want America to succeed. But his promises gave way to disappointment and division. This isn't something we have to accept. Now is the moment when we can do something. And with your help, we will do something.
Turn it on.
After a prayer-speaking, Bonner declared the convention adjourned. The Democratic National Convention gets started on Tuesday, September 4th, with the president and vice president accepting their party's nomination.
It's the speech everyone is talking about. Actor Clint Eastwood talking to an empty chair at the GOP convention. He was pretending to have a conversation with President Obama.
Tell Romney? I can't tell him to do that. Can't do that to himself. You're absolutely crazy. You're getting as bad as Biden.
Eastwood's speech inspires a new trend online called Eastwooding. People are now posting pictures of themselves with empty chairs. There's also a picture posted on the president's Twitter account with the message, "This seat's taken."
President Obama was part of an open question and answer session on a website called Reddit on Wednesday. Some users had a hard time logging in because about 4 million people were online checking out the thread. The president answered 10 questions in about 30 minutes. Topics included funding for the space program's reforms and even his favorite basketball player.
Yesterday, a federal appeals court in Washington struck down a controversial Texas voter ID law. The law would have required voters to show a photo ID when casting their ballots. The 3-judge panel came to their decision saying that the law imposed strict, unforgiving burdens on the poor. Pennsylvania also has a voter ID law that will be challenged in their state Supreme Court on September 13th. 6 justices will hear arguments from both sides of the issue. Pennsylvania and Texas are part of 9 that have voter ID laws.
A gun is found in Mitt Romney's plane. A member of the Secret Service let a loaded gun in the bathroom as they flew to Indiana for a campaign rally. A news reporter found the gun and told officials on board. The agent quickly retrieved the gun. Officials say Romney was not in any danger. The Secret Service says they are dealing with the situation